Hey everybody, welcome back to my garden. Today I wanted to bring you along as I plant this Kwanzan flowering cherry here in my front yard. This is one of my favorite variety of flowering cherry because they get nice big double blooms, so it is a really spectacular show in the spring. This tree gets about 25 to 30 feet tall and wide, maybe a little bit narrower, and it's already down to zone 5. I'm here in eastern Washington, zone 6, so it should be plenty winter hardy for this area. And I'm planting it in a full sun location where I want it to get about 25 feet tall and wide. This is a new flower bed that we're just starting to establish here in the front of the house. Behind it is a row of limelight hydrangeas. Those guys will get about 6 feet, and I want those to turn into a full hedge to kind of block off the property line. And then in the front, I have a row of green beauty boxwoods. My plan for those is to prune them up into little spheres about 1 to 2 feet tall and wide. And then eventually I will come back in and fill the rest of the bed with perennials and other things, so to really give it a lush feel. I want you to not be able to see hardly any soil once this bed is all said and done. The only downside of flowering cherries is that they're a pretty short-lived tree. They tend to only live for 15 to 25 years, and that's not to say that they will die after that time, but they tend to really start to decline in the flower show to really kind of drop off at about the 20-year mark. My preference is to take them out and replace them when that starts to happen. Some people like to limp them along and let them kind of live out the rest of their life. But that is really the only downside of a flowering cherry. They don't make a mess really other than the blooms in the spring and the leaves in the fall. But other than that, they're a pretty clean tree. And overall, I think this is a great small to mid-sized tree, especially for smaller yards. Our front yard here isn't huge, and you can see there's a tree in the neighbor's yard. So I think kind of a 15 to 25 feet tall and wide tree will be perfect in this area. I'm going to go ahead and get this guy planted though, and I will come back and show you what it looks like when I'm all done. Okay, so I've gotten the tree all planted and watered in well. As I was planting it, I mixed in a very generous amount of this Espoma Biotone starter fertilizer. I like to mix in some sort of fertilizer so that the tree has nutrients to get itself established. You can use either this or really any organic granular fertilizer will work just fine. I tend to prefer not to mix in any sort of compost or soil amendments because I find that it generally makes it harder for the tree once the tree has to reach out into the native soil. So really any trees or shrubs, I don't mix anything in. That is purely a matter of preference. I know plenty of very talented gardeners who do mix something in every time they plant, but luckily here I have very good soil and so that just isn't necessary. I will likely come back in later and prune off some of these lower branches so the canopy starts a little bit higher up. I want a really clear view under the tree to the hydrangeas in the background, but I will do that later after the tree has a chance to get itself at least somewhat established. I also didn't add any sort of staking system or anything like that. I tend to prefer to let trees just kind of do their own thing, and if it becomes a problem, then I will come back and address it. But generally, it usually is just fine. This is a very windy area, so I wouldn't be all that surprised if I need to add a stake. If it becomes a problem, then I will certainly come back and add one. But until then, I'm just going to let the tree kind of do its own thing. Other than that though, I expect this tree to do very well in this area. I'm excited to see it grow and kind of take shape. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below so that you can see how this entire garden takes shape and how this tree fills in. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.